The Wallet, A Story of Honest Choices. Rafiq Khan had just turned 19. He lived in a small town near Faisalabad with his mother and two younger sisters. Their home was a two-room brick house at the edge of a crowded mohalla, where the scent of chai and tandoori roti hung in the air. Life wasn't easy, but Rafiq never complained. His father had passed away when he was just 12, and since then he had become the man of the house. He worked at a small roadside dhaba, a busy one, known for its spicy dal and crispy parathas. The job didn't pay much, but it kept food on the table and paid his sister's school fees. Every day, he woke up before dawn, offered Fajr prayers, and cycled 5 kilometers to reach work on time. Rafiq had one guiding principle in life: honesty. His father, a school teacher, had once told him, "When you leave this world, people may forget your name, but they will never forget your truth." One unusually hot afternoon in June, after the lunch rush had ended, Rafiq began sweeping under the tables. He moved quickly, lost in thoughts about how he would gather money for his mother's upcoming checkup. That's when he noticed something shiny under a chair. He bent down and found a thick leather wallet, slightly worn but clearly expensive. He looked around. The last customer had left nearly 20 minutes ago. The wallet must belong to one of the businessmen who'd stopped in for lunch. Rafiq hesitated, then slowly opened it. Inside were several 5,000 rupee notes, a few credit cards, and a laminated national ID card. Name: Mr. Kamran Saeed. Address: Gulberg, Lahore. Rafiq's heart began to pound. He counted the money. It was nearly rupees. 140,000, more than what he made in a whole year. His fingers tightened around the wallet. For a moment he imagined what this money could do: a new school uniform for his sisters, proper medicine for his mother, maybe even a second-hand motorbike to replace his old bicycle. But then, his father's voice echoed in his mind again. "Beta, a man's truth is what he does when no one is watching." He closed the wallet, took a deep breath, and walked to his manager, Uncle Shafiq. "Uncle, someone left this behind," Rafiq said, handing over the wallet. Uncle Shafiq examined it and raised an eyebrow. "That's a lot of money, Rafiq. You could have taken it and no one would have known." "I would have known," Rafiq replied quietly. They both sat down and called the phone number written on the back of the ID card. After 3 rings, a tense voice answered. "Hello? Is this Mr. Kamran Saeed?" Uncle Shafiq asked. "Yes, who's speaking?" "This is from Sialkot Highway Dhaba. We found your wallet." There was silence. Then a relieved sigh. "Oh my God. I've been searching my car for the past half hour. I thought it was gone forever." Kamran arrived an hour later in a sleek black SUV. He was tall, middle-aged, with sharp eyes and a confident walk. He thanked Rafiq and Uncle Shafiq profusely, inspecting the contents of his wallet. "Everything is still here," he said in disbelief. "People like you are rare these days." Rafiq simply smiled. "It wasn't mine to take." Kamran reached into his pocket and pulled out a bundle of notes. "Please take this. Consider it a reward for your honesty." But Rafiq shook his head. "I didn't return it for a reward, sir. I only did what was right." Kamran looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to read his soul. "What's your name?" "Rafiq Khan." "What do you do besides work here?" "I wanted to study, but after my father passed away, I had to leave school." Kamran nodded slowly, tucked the money back into his coat, and handed Rafiq a business card. "If you ever come to Lahore, call me." And with that, he drove off. 2 months later, life returned to normal. Rafiq thought of that incident occasionally, but he had more pressing concerns. One morning, a letter arrived at his home. It was from Kamran Saeed and Sons Enterprises. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a formal scholarship offer for a full-time degree at Lahore Business School, with living expenses, tuition, and transportation covered. Attached was a part-time job offer at Kamran's company as an intern. Rafiq couldn't believe his eyes. His mother wept tears of joy. His sisters hugged him tightly. "You see, Beta," his mother said, "Allah always watches. When your heart is clean, doors open that you didn't even know existed." Life in Lahore. Rafiq moved to Lahore and began a new chapter. At the business school, he was among students from wealthy families, dressed in branded clothes and carrying the latest phones. At first, he felt out of place, but he worked hard, attending every class, reading late into the night, and never missing a deadline. At Cameron's office, he worked as an intern in the marketing department. He observed how the business ran, asked questions, and absorbed everything like a sponge. Cameron watched him closely, not just as an employer, but as a mentor. One afternoon, after a team meeting, Cameron invited Rafiq into his office. "You know," he said, pouring tea into 2 cups, "I've met hundreds of people in my life, but it's rare to meet someone who chooses honesty over desperation." Rafiq looked down modestly. "I just did what my father taught me," Cameron smiled. "Your father must have been a wise man. I see leadership in you, Rafiq. Someday, you'll lead others, not just with intelligence, but with integrity." Years later, 5 years passed. Rafiq graduated with honors and rose through the ranks at Kamran's company. By the age of 25, he became one of the youngest regional managers. He had brought his mother and sisters to Lahore. His sisters were now in college, and his mother was healthy, thanks to proper treatment. One day, Kamran called him into his office. "I'm retiring," he said, "and I want you to take over the company." Rafiq's eyes widened. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Kamran laughed. "I don't want someone who only knows business. I want someone who knows what matters most." Conclusion. Rafiq's life changed the day he chose to return that wallet. But it wasn't the money or the opportunity that defined him. It was his honesty, that quiet, invisible force that made people trust him, respect him, and ultimately follow him. He never forgot where he came from. Every year he returned to the same daba and sat at the same table. The new waiters didn't know who he was, but Uncle Shafiq always brought him tea with a proud smile. And whenever someone asked him about success, Rafiq would say, "Success doesn't start with wealth. It starts with one honest decision,